howdy, and welcome back to episode 8 of the Dirt Info podcast. Today, we're going to give you our takes on the Wild West Shootout, both this past weekend and this upcoming weekend. We'll also give you our opinions on what to look for at the IMCA Winter Nationals, and of course, we'll end with Carter.
The one for the road.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to say? You tell me all the time I forget stuff. So what do I forget?
Yes. Make sure to follow us on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, share, comment, all that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. Any and all interactions are welcome. Um, so with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started with the Wild West Shootout. So Julian, I know that you were super pumped for the X mods, and they absolutely delivered. So tell us what you saw and what you think.
Yeah, X mods were actually they put on a great show. I know it's kind of like seen as the lowest division, obviously, and people like to talk a lot of crap about B mods, but they put on great races both nights. Mr. Rob Mosley, with the big hair, big on the mic, won both races because his old lady told him to put on a new tire, apparently. So
Yeah, how about that? She's. I think the first time she said, "Well, if you want to win $1,000, put a new tire on." And it's Smarty listens.
yeah, you won it. I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't say he dominated. I mean, I think he led the majority of it, which was really good.
Yeah, night one, I think he was a little more dominant, if you will, or a little more impressive than on Sunday. But yeah,
Yeah, and then somebody else that uh, was really good, and he had a really bad year last year. He only made one feature with Scott Bintz. He finished, I think,
oh,
13th in one feature last year, something like that. And he already has
you're talking at Vado though, right? To be
and
clear,
Vado,
at Vado.
and
Yeah,
Vado,
yep,
yeah.
yep.
And he was seventh in that first race on Friday night, and then he ended up finishing. Was it second on
Second
Sunday? Yeah,
Sunday, yeah.
yeah. So I
Saturday,
mean,
Sunday, yeah.
what a rebound for Scott Bintz, because I think everybody's kind of, I mean, I don't think he's a guy that really lights the world on fire, but I mean, I think he's a guy that's a solid runner. A lot of top fives, a couple wins here or there, kind of deal.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, he's up in my neck of the woods, right? I've seen him run a fair bit. Um, so yeah, I always am rooting for my more local guys. I want to claim him as Wasota, but I think he races a little bit of everything, but and maybe not a ton of Wasota. So um I'm probably talking out on my left foot again. Anyway, all the same, I like that he's up my way. I met him at the big deal. Always cool to see him do well. Um, but yeah, transitioning a little bit over to the mods, I think we had a little bit of everyone saw that coming on Saturday, and nobody saw that coming on Sunday. So that was pretty neat. Kate Diller taking home the feature Saturday night over I believe a hard charging Dustin Sorensen and Kyle Strickler rounded out the podium. And then Jake Gallardo nipping Dustin Sorensen at the line by I think all of uh, fractions and decimals give me trouble, but 0.022, whatever that is, that's how much you beat him by. And so yeah, that was a heck of a finish. I actually rewound it a couple times to watch it. But yeah, that was awesome. And then Strickler again. Uh anyway,
well,
finished on the podium. So
Sorensen got 2 seconds. So I mean,
2 seconds.
Sorensen
Yeah.
second twice, Strickler third twice. So
Yeah.
they've been. I know Dillard was up to fifth from like 15th, so he ran into trouble with whatever happened with the bead
I think
lock or whatever on that tire.
he bent a rim which led to the beadlock coming off
I think
and
he hit
spinning the
that.
tire clear off.
Sumi hit that hole. They showed it on the replay coming out at three.
Mhm.
It looked like he hit the hole and it just whipped around. But I mean, we talked about Kyle Strickler being the most consistent, or not being sorry, not but most consistent, but he was going to be somebody that's going to be challenging for
Yeah.
wins at Vado. And
Mhm.
I think he's proven that. Dustin Sorensen, I don't even think we were sure he was bringing it modified. But
We didn't say a word
Yeah,
about
I
him.
don't think
We
we
didn't. We
mentioned him
didn't.
one time.
Not one time. Which is a bad look considering he's from my home state. Um, but yeah.
well, he's been
And
he's
well, I
going
was going
back
to
to
mention. Yeah, I mean primarily late models, but what I find interesting, and I it completely spaced my mind, but it makes perfect sense why he's down there in Vado now. He's doing the modified chassis with Longhorn, so he's doing the Longhorn by Sorensen. So he was down there in one of his cars, and then I think Cole Queensland was also in one of his cars. I'm almost positive. It would make all the sense in the world. They, the families promote the Deer Creek, the whole nine. So it would make perfect sense. I saw Longhorn on the side. I've jumped to conclusions beyond that, but I assume it's a Sorensen car. But that was kind of cool to have him down there, sort of introducing his program. I know he was working with Jacob Blees up at Deer Creek a little bit last year as well too. So pretty cool for him to go down there and rip off two second place finishes in his own stuff. Um, and then Dillard, obviously CDR cars, so that's his own cars. I think that's always cool that he's running late models and manufacturing modifieds, and now Sorensen kind of throws his hat in the ring. So that ever growing connection between the two classes persists. But another interesting note too, just real quick before I give someone else some air, is that we didn't realize last episode that Strickler's also in a CDR car. So Strickler is in a CDR car. They talked about it on the Flow broadcast that he's looking to run the full USMTS schedule. Um, Maybe that's all the way confirmed. Maybe there's a little bit more to the story, um, but yeah, it sounds like that's at least something he's looking to do. And if that's the case, I fully intend to befriend him. He looks like a cool dude. So if he's running USMTS, he's going to be in my neck of the woods a lot of this summer, and I plan to run into him. But
Mm.
anyway,
We know Josh loves Kyle Strickler. I mean, you have the door back there. We constantly talk about Kyle
yeah,
Strickler. We're posting about Kyle Strickler on Facebook, being slightly
he's the
corrected about Kyle Strickler on Facebook. But all this talk about chassis and everything, I think you miss a big one. Ronnie Sanders is running a prototype MB Customs chassis.
Is it a pro? I thought it was.
It's
I knew it was
prototype
the house car. Didn't realize it was a prototype. That is
per the broadcast.
fancy.
Per the broadcast, it's a prototype,
Okay.
and he was running well last night, or well Sunday,
Sunday.
and yeah. So he's running well then, and then he broke, I think, the rear end or something. I thought it looked wonky for a few laps.
Mhm.
And so, but yeah, per the broadcast, that's a prototype MB Customs car. So we'll see what comes of that. That's kind of interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, also Buzzy Adams, we had mentioned last episode, or I had mentioned that Blake was down there and it's presumed Buzzy would be there. Sounds like he's gonna jump in the prototype a couple times the rest of this week, I think. So be interested to see him jump in that car, and I think Rodney will slide into his own car at that point. So he'll have to go back to the regular old boring ones, I guess. No prototypes are in those days, but yeah.
And,
Uh,
we're talking about everybody that was there, and Carter and I were talking a little bit before this about some guys that maybe didn't show up. Not specific to modifieds and stuff, but somebody that's missing too from X Mods, Chris Jackson. He's a guy
yeah.
that dominated down there, and then also Jesse Haney finished second on the first night in X Mods. Then he said he doesn't think he'll be able to run the rest of the week, and so that's
Yeah.
that's a huge loss. Jesse Haney, I mean, he could easily win down there. He's won many races, so
Oh
that's a
yeah,
huge.
I think he came out of a B main that first night. I'm pretty sure. Um, and went all the way to second. And if he hadn't, I know he was coming forward from way back. So it's a bummer that he's not there. Yeah, I opened the show sort of tongue in cheek with X mods, but they definitely I would say they had the racing was fantastic. I mean, across all the classes, but the X mods, their features were good. Maybe the best. I don't know. That may be blasphemous, but as far as side by side racing, lap after lap for first through 10th, it's tough to beat what they were putting on the track.
I don't know if I would go the best overall. I mean, it was pretty solid. Not a lot of crashes, as B mods maybe are known for. I think they were pretty solid. But I mean, it's hard to beat the modifieds. Photo finish between Sorensen and Guyard.
True.
Even though you try to clickbait some rage there with Gallardo. Um,
I'm
and
not
then
a good speller on occasion.
the late models, obviously, race of the year candidates already with Albertson versus Pierce, and then
Mhm.
Pierce versus Shepard, and then also Colin Weinbarger, um, everybody's favorite in that race. I mean, took off like crazy, and I mean, if
Oh,
there's no
that
yellow, I don't know
stupid
if anything would have
caution.
caught him.
Yeah, that yellow was the biggest bummer.
Yep.
I was rooting for him pretty hard.
Carter, what do you think about the Wild West Shootout? I know you're excited about it.
Well, you guys watched way more than I did. So first night I was watching the Tulsa shootout took priority. And then the second night I sat there in pain and silence as the Vikings got demolished by the Lions. And then I tuned into the Wild West shootout towards the mod feature. That was mod was for the last one, right? Yesterday?
Yeah.
Sunday? Yeah,
Yep.
I think I gave up all hope on the Vikings. I was like, all right, let's pay more attention to Vado now. So
So
I
you
didn't
missed the
see
league model feature?
I had it on, but it didn't have my attention. It was background at the time.
I already tried to tell you they're only gonna break your heart, and you're just
Oh, I know they will. I know they will.
Yeah,
But I
we're
keep coming
and so
I
you
keep
rearranging.
missed it
coming back.
last lap. You missed the last lap pass for 31-9. That's shameful.
I saw it happen. I just I didn't really care. I was seeing what was happening on my other TV and it was nothing good with the Vikings,
Uh,
so I was upset.
See, I watched my hockey team get demolished 2 out of 3 nights over the weekend, and I still watch Vado. I was in the stands watching on my phone, and you can't watch football and Vado at the same time for
It
at
was
least a year.
on. They were on at the
Seems
same
fair.
time. I just wasn't paying much attention to it.
Uh, to be fair, I had Vikings here, Vado on my phone, and I was going back and forth for a little bit. But I was watching with the boys. They cut out early. It's early in the second half. Whenever I think we uh, that first touchdown in the second half, I think they were like, nope. And I was like, all right, if they're not going to watch it, I'm not going to watch it
Oh,
either.
I
So,
sat through it
uh,
all.
yeah. See, you just got to know when to cut your losses. And not to turn it into a Vikings podcast, but the long and short of it is there's not much to take away from that, in my opinion. I think Sam Darnold has never played in a game anywhere that big in his entire career, from USC to the Jets to the Panthers to whatever other podunk
49ers.
town he was out going. Yeah, 0-7 for. Like, he's never played in that game. So that's his first chance. It didn't go well. Learn from it, pick yourself up, go out, go again. He's going to have more opportunities. So I don't know. Vikings fans are all going to poop on him and say it's over and we should cut him before the playoffs even start. And is any chance JJ can come off the IR before the playoffs start? But like, the long and short of it is the dude has never been there before. And so he was trying to be perfect. You could see it with the overthrows. That's what dudes do when they're trying to be perfect. They overthrow everyone. Um, let them learn from it and let's rip. That's my
Is SB
Vikings
Nation still a
pep
thing?
talk.
That like still a thing in football because I feel like we're going to be an SB Nation podcast for like the Vikings now.
Oh no, gosh, no. I don't.
Modified
I
stuff. Why are we even talking about it? Let's talk football.
no,
The
no.
re
There's
the
a million.
the reason I sit through it even though it's over is I'm at least hoping for some garbage time padding, like give me a Jefferson 75-yard touchdown just to lighten my spirits a bit. I was
Hey,
hoping
So
for
that's
you can
that.
at least pop that jersey a little bit while they're losing.
hey. In my hockey game, we lost like 7-5 on Sunday night. But our assistant coach got thrown out and started throwing water bottles and like trash cans on the ice. And then the
Oh,
goalie
nice.
started getting into it with a fan that was sitting next to me and trying to challenge him to a fight. So I mean, so at least you always stayed at the end because you never know what might happen.
That's why you
So did
always
you?
stay
Are
for the
you?
four cylinders at the races.
Kid might jump out and try to fight a fan too. So your goalie
Probably
went
more
short.
like
Your goalie went shoresy on the bit to in the game, huh? He just tried to go right up in the stands and
it
fight
wasn't
someone.
our goalie.
Oh, it was their goalie, even better.
Yeah, but on video too, he's sitting there shaking his gloves at our fan, like trying to, and he's like, come down here. Our fan's like, no, come up here. Although I will give it this, the fan was like jacked. Like this dude's muscle, like arms were 10 times bigger than my head. So I don't know if that
Uh,
goalie lasted. He looked pretty small.
yeah. Well, he's using the glass kind of as like a false bravado sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would have
but I,
done the same probably.
but I mean, you bought the ticket. You're entitled to pretend you're tough. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's always a line there, but I agree to some extent. Some good-natured fun's always worth it. Um, Plus
but
it's
let's
hockey. You're supposed to chirp. So like if the
yeah
goalie can't handle it, like what the hell?
yeah it's fun.
Yeah,
You gotta But let's stick in ball sports here. Back to
Yeah.
Vado. We got a couple days off, and then we have one race, and then we have three more.
Hmm.
Looks like some guys aren't going to be returning at least. I know we know Jake Smith is going to run a B mod apparently at the IMCA Winter Nationals.
Sport mod.
Sport
Um,
mod. Yeah,
sport,
there you go.
well, the same thing.
Nope. Different
Northern
things.
Sport Mod, Southern Sport Mod. Why are they running Northern Sport Mods in the South, Carter? You're the IMCA
I think
expert.
the only place that runs Southern sport mods is Texas.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, them too. But like, I guess Arizona is not considered South enough. So I don't know. It's always confused me too. Unless my guess is they had their own sort of B mod at the time, and they wanted to like sanction them, and instead of making them switch to a whole different thing, they just said, let's make a rule package that fits. I don't know, something weird like that. Like instead of them switching to
Yeah.
the Northern Sport Mod one, they just made a Southern Sport Mod that fit what they already had down there.
Can you be a
Uh,
Southern Sport Mod national champion? Is that a thing?
Yeah, they used to have the Southern Sport Mods at Boone, and then like none of them showed up because all of their cars are like hours away. So
yeah, that makes sense. That all makes sense.
now they
But
have their own Super Nationals race somewhere in Texas. I don't remember what track.
hmm, well, I learned something today, Julian. Back to back sort of to the other topic. I did see Tyler Davis is flying out, flying in, so he's going to miss Wednesday. Um, I'm not sure that I saw too many people coming or going. Anyone who's running Woo though on the late model side, I gotta presume is or eh, no, Lucas. Whoever's
Lucas,
running
yeah.
Lucas, yeah, whoever's running Lucas, I gotta think is thinking about dipping out at some point before the end of it. But
That would explain
um,
why Max Blair did not go to Vado.
mhm.
Which Lucas guys are there? Marlar, Shepard, and Troutman. If Trout, I don't even know if
Trout,
Troutman's announced what he's running yet,
yeah,
but
no, I
Saying
think
he said
he's doing
Woo
the
or
pick and choose.
oh, is he?
No, Troutman? I didn't think he announced anything. I thought he was gonna go to Florida and see what happened
Oh
and then
yeah, I
follow
don't know if
series.
he announced what he was running. I just
Yeah.
associate him
No,
with Lucas because of last year.
no.
So.
well, Alberson.
Yeah.
Oh
Alberson's
yeah,
there.
Albertson too.
Albertson definitely is. Yeah.
I,
I wouldn't, I mean, Drake very well might run Lucas again too, but so those guys will have a haul. Not that some of them haven't done it before, but
and
um,
just speaking of the guys that were there too, I have my notes from last week that I took here on the car counts. And I figured I just touch on that real quick. Compare them to last year. So this year there were 47 late models. Actually 47 late models, 52 A mods, and 47 X mods. Last year there were 60 A mods and 40 X mods. So
How
X
many
mods
late
are up.
models?
Huh?
How,
You know what? I actually didn't write that one down
I'll
because
go
I only
find it.
modified notes because we're a modified podcast. But I figured I'd throw that
yeah,
in. I feel like it's
smarter.
Well, he said late
but
models for this year, so I figured he's gonna say him for
Fair
last year
enough.
too.
but A mods basically, yeah. I decided not to do that after I read it off. Uh,
Carter ever the completionist.
but so the A mods lost some guys and the X mods gained some. So, but X mods are also going to lose a couple. I think going over to Central Arizona.
Mhm.
So I think there's at least a couple. We don't know. In the A mods too, maybe Austin Cool. I don't know. We don't know if he's going to go over to Central Arizona. He's an IMCA guy.
Yeah.
Um, Taylor
Given how he
Cool.
ran, I mean, made the feature one night and narrowly missed in the B the next. I would hope he'd stay. I actually picked him in dirt draft. Anyway, you were saying you anticipate he might leave because of why?
I mean, he's an IMCA guy, and
Yeah.
it's an IMCA event. And Taylor Cool's also running over there. I don't know if they really run together all that much, but I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, it feels like I don't know. We were talking about this too, but how many events are just available? And we actually discovered another one over the weekend. Southern Raceway down in Milton, Florida, is also running their own like winter nationals for IMCA. After the IMCA Clash on the Coast. So there's another winter event. So I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like I don't think it's getting spread thin, but I feel like you're seeing some drivers really kind of run one event this year
Yeah.
and then run that one the next year, kind of deal.
Yeah. Well, and especially like for this year, guys got to make choices now, right? Do you go Arizona or do you go Florida? I don't think a lot of guys are going Arizona, Florida. I'm not saying that few won't, but I can't imagine a whole bunch are gonna try to make all of that racing. So
Cade Dillard's going to get
definitely
the trifecta. He's going to run New Mexico, and then he's going to go run in Texas in a few weeks, and then he'll be over in Florida.
hmm, what's in Texas?
That mod race we covered, that was supposed
Oh
to be
yeah,
during the
yeah.
dome that got postponed.
Do we think he's still running that?
They
He's
advertised like he is, so
Okay, okay,
World of Outlaws
right
don't
on.
race during it, so
driving
Oh,
the
perfect.
promoters.
Then he very well
Well,
might be.
driving Steven Whitaker's modified, who's promoting the event. So
Awesome. Yeah, that would be actually that'd be super neat to see Cade do that kind of in the once the season got rolling to just honor the commitment. I'm sure he will, and that'll be really neat. So, um,
he'd have
but
to
anyway,
go from New Mexico to Florida for Volusia, the Sunshine Nationals, and then back to Texas, and then back to Volusia like a
back to
week or two later.
yeah,
you
huh?
know, yeah, some other guys like that. I just look at my list. We're missing some guys. No Reese Solander, who's been a kind of like a staple at Vado. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
down maybe this week. No JC Morton. He announced that he wasn't going to be there.
Hmm.
No Jake O'Neill, who we talked about.
Yeah.
No Tyler Wolf. No Lucas Schott. He's kind of, whatever happens with
Mystery
it.
man. Yeah, he's a mystery man.
Here he has
A little
hardwood
bit.
though.
Yeah,
Um,
shots hardwood floors.
and then yeah, so I mean, those are the big
Feminists.
ones missing there.
Yeah.
But then we also, next week we do have the moving on, kind of the IMC Winter Nationals coming up, and don't want to spend too much time on it, but kind of throw some names out there. There's a lot of big IMCA guys going down. From we have guys like Tyson Blood from the Northwest, who's a big runner up kind of like the Washington region. Matt Crafton, obviously, ex NASCAR guy, really into the dirt modified stuff now.
Hmm.
Jeremy Mills, Ethan Braxma, Colby Fett, Eddie Bellick. Um, got my Jaeger shirt on there. Bryson Jaeger's going to be there.
Represent.
Yes, Isaac Malicote, Dylan Thornton, Zane
Yeah.
DeVilbiss. That's going to be a huge event. Those are just the modified guys that I wrote down too. And obviously, Carter, you're the big IMCA guy. So, I mean, Chaz, how about Chaz Baca? We forgot
Right.
about him.
He'll be there.
Yeah.
Paul
What did he do
Charneski's
last year?
going.
Say again.
Chaz Baca, he won the national championship. I know that.
Yeah.
What else did he win?
It's a good question. I don't know what else he won. Oh, the
IMCA Winter
points. He won the
Nationals
points.
last year.
Yeah, he won the points at this event last year. It
Yeah,
is at a different track this year too. Last year it was at
Yeah.
Cocopah, and Cocopah's having, I don't know, some issues. I don't know. I don't remember what's going
Some
on there.
issues.
And so they moved it to Central Arizona. I don't really know much about this track, like at all. So I think they
it's a
put some
nice.
walls in. I'm pretty sure they added walls to the corners. That's about all I saw from there.
You know what? I actually first I really saw this track was a T Mez video. He did like he went down the run to the Power Eye like 360s or something, and he did his vlog on it. And I was like, this is a pretty nice track. And then next year they're running. Isn't High Limit going there or World of
Oh yeah.
Outlaws?
Didn't
And
was did Western, is it called Western World? The non-wing thing? Did that used to be there? Okay, I have
it,
then
I think so. Yeah.
then I think I might have
it
seen that there.
it's
So,
going there this year. It
yeah, I
was
think it
at
used to be
Mojave Valley.
there. I don't I think it used to be there too in the past, and then unless there was,
Cocopah.
oh, is
It was
that
a
where it
Coke.
was? Okay. I knew it was somewhere
Yeah,
else in the past.
and then it went to Mojave Valley, and now it's going back to Central Arizona. So Central Arizona has a ton of huge races in it. Invested a lot of money into that, kind of like Vado, I guess. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Vado with the quality of the facility that I saw, at least. Obviously, I've never been there. None of us have been there, but from what I've seen, it looks really nice, and that's what a lot of people said. Team S said it looked really nice too. So
It kind of turned into like the winter track for Arizona at this point. I mean, it was Cocopah, and now everything just went to Central Arizona, and then they got some national series too. So yeah, they got a bunch going on. Pretty much the next month, they're like racing almost every day, it seems like. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Winter Nationals alone is what this week starts on. starts today, Wednesday, and goes through the 11th, and then it starts again next week, and they race, I think, another 4 days
And
as
then they
well.
have
So
the early Mincy right after that, which is I think 2 weeks long as well.
yeah, that sounds right. That does sound right. I think yeah, you're exactly right. 120, so the 23rd to the 25th, and then the 30th to February 1st. So, pretty much just going for a whole month. So, and thankfully it looks like they're running mods the whole time too. So we'll probably catch some highlights or something. We'll get a better look at that racetrack. That much is for sure. So, um, but yeah, as far as like guys there, I'm not gonna pretend I know a ton about IMCA, but anytime Dylan Thornton's there, I mean, I've told y'all how good of friends he and I are. Obviously, you're gonna suspect that he's gonna do good. I also think I saw that he's bringing a late model down and is gonna run a late model at the Earl Mincy afterwards, so that's pretty cool. Um, Carter, I think you may have mentioned it before, but we stepped all over it. But there's someone that Julian didn't mention that's going
Oh, Cole
to
Sharneski, is that who you're talking about?
yeah, yeah. So I think I mean, we've highlighted him a bit on this show as well, but obviously he's going to be someone who to keep an eye on and look for towards the front of the pack night
I
after
think
night.
he already has, well, I guess it's a new year now. I think didn't he won some stock car shows in Arizona? I don't know if it was Central Arizona. I think it was a few weeks ago they
Yeah, a
had
couple weeks
something
back.
and he won some stock car shows there. So and
Huh?
I know he went down there last year too, but that was at Kokopah. But I know he went to Central. I think it was Central Arizona a few weeks ago when he won some stock car stuff. So and I'm sure he'll be bringing that along with him as well when he goes.
Yeah, I would think so. I didn't see if Tim Ward was going or not, but I think our research revealed that he was second in points last
Last
year
year.
to yeah, so maybe we'll see him. Well, I went all deep diving on Drew Jansen. I didn't see his name anywhere, but I'm fingers crossing we'll see him somewhere soon. I guess once I once I pick my favorites, I follow him around. So I'm curious to see if he'll show up anywhere as well. Um,
Last year too,
so
Colin Hibden was down there last year. I don't know if he's, 'cause I think he won a night. I was looking at results earlier. I think he won one of the nights last year as well. So he could be another one that shows up down there. And
yeah,
then he could
could
stay
be a threat to
too.
win.
He could stay for that next week and race that Wasota late model if he still got that thing going on. So
True. Yeah, that's what he was in most of last summer. So although I could have swore I just saw he's doing something with Longhorn on chassis too, honestly. So,
I
uh,
I just pulled up that Facebook post.
yeah,
He's gonna be running a yeah, he's gonna be running a Longhorn chassis. It's actually gonna be Longhorn by Awesome Motorsports.
which I
So
think is Hibden's outfit. So, he's doing a little bit like the Longhorn by Sorensen deal. Sorensen, I think, would be focusing on USRA style Longhorns, and maybe Hibden's going to be doing IMCA stuff. So I think he was manufacturing his own chat. Like I'm so like just random thoughts popping in my head, but I think at the Duel in the Desert, I think him and Dylan Thornton were technically teammates. Him and Hibden, was that not the case? And one was Hibden's manufactured car, and then one was something else, I think, or maybe they were both. But anyway, long and short, they were running a chassis I hadn't seen, and I
I
think it was
I believe he was running an Eldorado car.
an Eldorado, and that's not him. So I'm talking out of my butt again.
Yeah,
him and Thornton were teammates though at the
Okay.
duel in the desert. That is right, but the other half might be
I
wrong.
There was something about two different chassis I thought I saw, but maybe I'm just conflating all kinds of different information in my head. I haven't researched it hard enough, but
I
um
yeah, I'm actually not sure
anyway,
where Eldorado is based out of, but I know a lot of the Colorado guys run those. I think Eddie Bellick is also in an Eldorado. And speaking of Eddie Bellick, he's maybe one of the most underrated modified drivers in the country. I mean, he's lightning quick, and he's going to be one to watch down at the Winter
Oh,
Nationals.
real quick, on Colin Hidben's post, it says Eldorado Speed Shop and Shock Service has been transitioned into Awesome Motorsports and Service. So there you go. So he was right. It's got a new
how
name
about the
now.
king? Don't miss, Julian. Come on. This old brain still pulls some things out every now and again.
Okay. But
Anyway,
on that, I mean, if he's building race cars and stuff, maybe Hibden won't be going down to Central Arizona.
or maybe he'll take the Sorensen approach and be like, "This is the best time to unveil these bad boys and go whoop up on some people." So, could go either way, but yeah, maybe we'll see him down there. That's a cool storyline that just sort of organically came together here. We're all just remembering random things. Uh, but yeah, so the Hibden storyline will continue throughout the year. Now we've written that in the lore. Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, anything anyone else really wants to add? You had said Eddie Bellick would be one to watch down there, and so that maybe he's in one of Hibden's cars. Other than that, I've got not much else to mention. I've named the 5 IMCA drivers I know. So,
I
um,
don't know. We'll have to pretty much wait and see who all shows up, I guess,
yeah,
next
Yeah, there's
week.
no that entry list. It's kind of we just kind of cobbled it together what we saw on Facebook plus what the Winter
yeah,
National kind of posted with their graphics.
yeah.
But I mean, they don't obviously post everyone. Um, some guys just might show up, like Hib didn't, obviously. And I don't think Baca was even announced, but he announced on Facebook that he's going. And you'd be really
He
shocked
does-
if a national champion from Arizona didn't show up. And
yeah.
something, and this is crazy too. We were looking through that article about him winning the championship. He led IMC national points from mid-January all the way to the end of the season last year. That's pretty
You,
impressive.
yeah,
Nobody ever did.
That's impressive.
usually what happens, like when a Midwest guy wins it, is an Arizona guy will lead up until it gets warm in the Midwest, and then the Midwest guy takes over, and that's what happens. But yeah, usually no one leads it from Arizona racing all the way through like once Midwest starts and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that was
So
weird.
go ahead.
does Baca go into Iowa to race in the summer?
I don't think like all summer, but he goes up there like for Super Nationals. He goes up there. There might be
Okay.
more, but I
He
don't think
ran the
he's there.
Dakota Classic Mod Tour.
Yeah, so
Say again, Julian.
He ran the Dakota Classic Mod Tour last year. I don't think he had a ton of
Okay.
success on it, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah,
But
so that makes sense. I'm just because
yeah,
I don't suspect they're doing a crap ton of racing in Arizona in July. The
he
track looked probably
runs
rubber, so
in the summer. He runs in, where is this track? I think it's in Utah. Or no, there is one track. Deuce of Clubs Thunder Raceway is running in the summer in Arizona. That's pretty much the only place he runs in the summer outside of a few Midwest
okay.
shows. Like he ran the Big Deal, Dakota Mod Tour, and then Super Nationals, and those are his only starts in the Midwest during the summer. So
you can't fault the guy. I mean, he's based all the way in Arizona, so I mean, to expect him to come up and run the Midwest, I mean, that's a
Yeah,
big ask.
no, I
and
I
was
mean,
and
just
I know a lot of
genuine.
guys relocate, but I mean, that's still a lot of money and time.
yeah, most of the ones that Arizona guys that do come to Iowa end up just moving to Iowa and stuff like that. Like Tim
Mhm.
Ward, Taylor Cool and
Like
stuff.
Keith Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, he went back to back national champ. So I was just curious if that was something maybe he was putting a priority on or but it turns out there's a track nearby that you can just go race and stay in the lead. So that's pretty awesome. But anyway, I think that'll probably wrap up the Winter Nationals for us. And I suppose with that it means it's time for
The one for the road. And I will start. The race I was watching Saturday was the Tulsa Shootout, and I don't know how much you watched it, Josh. I know you watched it, Julian, because you were messaging and posting about it. But the racing there, the features were phenomenal. Like pretty much everyone. The only one I didn't pay much attention to was the junior sprint one. So I apologize to the children, but I did not pay any attention to that one. But the
you
last,
don't care about the future of racing?
I'll care about them once they aren't running junior sprints. But the
Did you
last
see the
feature,
junior sprint interviews for
no.
Braxton Bush and
Oh,
Braxton
I
Flat?
saw them. I saw them doing it. Yeah, I did see they were doing
Yeah.
that. I didn't have the volume turned up for that though. But yeah, that last feature between Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson was unbelievable. I don't, and the crazy part is I don't think either of them would have won if Steven Snyder didn't get a flat or whatever happened to him because he took the lead and then like 2 laps later he was like a straightaway and a half away from them. But
He drove from like what was it like
it was
20th or
yeah, it was
something?
way back there. Got straight to
And
the
Mm.
front.
he was like 10 times faster than everyone. Like he was When he came past those guys, like it was insane. I couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. I think even Larson and Bell said he was
Yeah,
both
they
beating
mentioned it
on.
in their interview. I don't
Hmm.
know.
I mean,
Go ahead,
I was
Josh.
gonna say the line that Larson was
That's what
running
I
at the
was
end of
gonna
the
say.
race was the same line that ate up Snyder's tire. So someone was paying attention.
Yeah,
See, I
that
So
think
I mean, he
that's
was
what I
coming
think
in
that's what
like
he got.
10
I think Snyder kind of banged it, whereas Larson kind of like
rode
rode
like
it almost
drove up
like a
it and
dirt
back
bike
down
kind of
it.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 I think that's
yeah.
what got.
Yeah, I saw the lap where he hurt it. He just got a little bit up on the fence and it probably chunked it or something. I don't. They probably told us, and I don't care enough to look. But he hurt it somehow, and that's how he ended up out of the race. So that was a bummer because that was cool as heck to watch, especially once he got by those guys. I mean, Steven Snyder gets by Larson and Bell, and then puts a half a track on them. You're just like, and then to just see it all go, it's kind of a bummer. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I just hope if the track's like that for the Chili Bowl, I will be fully invested into that. I will be anyways, but
mm,
if the track's like that, that'll be ideal.
Fewer laps too, 40 laps. So hopefully it doesn't take rubber.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Hopefully, it's just a dogfight till the end. And interestingly enough, a lot of the, I mean, you're expecting to see a fair bit of the same names we were just talking about, at the front of the other one. Larson and Bell are going to obviously be favorites, and there's a bunch of other names we can run down too. And Julian's got us all filled in on the big block drivers who are always threats to win because this race has been won by a big block driver before. So, yeah, Chili Bowl should be neat. We might break a little bit of protocol and talk about it, but we'll see.
It's a big.
Um, it's a big deal. Yeah, it kind of is a big deal. Eh, we'll see how much of an ass we can make of ourselves talking about it. Anyway, Julian, you're one for the road.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go really off the wall here. uh, so this upcoming weekend, there's the biggest banger racing event of the year over in the UK. I had to get some pronunciation help here from my buddy Chris A on Twitter. So it's Hensford so, Speedway or something like that over in England, and this is the Civil War 25. And so if you don't understand banger racing, it's actually a race. But if you go on YouTube and look at this,
That's everybody watching this, by
they
the way.
just smash
Everybody.
they just smash into each other. And so it's kind of like a demo derby, but it's also a race. It's kind of like an enduro, but way more hardcore than an enduro. So the deal with the Civil War is you have your northern team, and then you have your southern team, and then you have generals from the north and from the south, and then you also have here. I'm going to read this off. You have the Light Brigade, which is like very small banger cars, and then you have your infantry, which I guess is like hatchbacks and things like that. And then you have your tanks, which are the larger cars. And they were supposed to have unlimiteds back this year after a couple of years off or something like that. And the North team, I was reading this in the release. Apparently, the North team asked for this to come back as the special forces, and then they couldn't field a team, so they called those off.
Hmm.
But basically, each division gets 3 races and then a demo derby, and they have to, whoever racks up the most points wins. Basically, however you finish. But I mean, you have to have. It's all about the race, but you're gonna have blockers, you're gonna have wreckers, you're gonna have racers, and so it's really tactical kind of thing. And my buddy
Hold
Chris A
up.
is actually
Hold
gonna be
up.
there.
Hold up. Is this roller derby with demo cars?
Basically.
Okay. That actually sounds cool. But that's
Yeah,
probably the reference everyone will get. Because there's obviously we have a strong roller derby contingent of watchers.
yeah, and my buddy Chris A, I'm sure he's gonna be posting video and pictures from the paddock, I guess, as you'd say over there, um, on Twitter. I think it's on Saturday or Sunday, something like that. I don't know. It's a little bit ahead of us there. But yeah, maybe we'll post a link to the site or something where you could find out more about it. I don't know if you could actually watch it. They live stream some of their stuff. Not sure if they'll live stream this, but and also fun fact, he
Hopefully.
told me Bill France of NASCAR actually helped design this track. over in the 50s or 60s, I think, over in England. So there's a tie to an American racing.
Hmm, interesting. That actually was fascinating. I'm gonna be honest. I would every time you pull out your obscure stuff, I'm never sure where we're gonna go. But that was an adventure, and I was glad I went on it. Um, Just one follow-up question though. Do you think I get we could probably do the racing, that part's fine, but do you think we could pull off like the event name and structure here in the States, or do you think we would have to go with something else?
I feel like that's opening up a can of worms.
Anyway, I just
But
when you said it, I was just like, there's no way we could do that here. That was my first thought. So
no, they you know what, they've had civil there's English Civil War over there too, so it's
fair enough. Well,
but
there
it's also tied 14-14 apparently. So whoever wins this one,
oh.
so this is a big deal. 25th one, whoever comes out on top. There's probably gonna be a 26th, but
Yeah, it's not like it's
Your
the
math
last one,
didn't
so
quite check out there, but that's
I
all
don't know.
right.
I know nothing about this, but apparently the South has the better banger racers. But I'm gonna go North for no
Okay.
apparent reason. Underdog, I guess.
I'm I guess I'll take the North. I'll go with the favorite. Carter, you have to pick.
The South is
oh,
the favorite guy.
Yeah, that's why I said I'll take the South. You said you were gonna
you
take the
said you
North,
said
didn't
you
you?
take the North. That's what you just said.
Oh, no. Well, then I misspoke. I'm taking the favorite, which is the South.
Well, the North, in my opinion, were the good guys over here, so I'll take them.
Damn it, Carter. We were so close. Anyway,
Well,
I
thank you for
digress.
tuning in to the final Dirt Info podcast.
Shit, no one watches enough to cancel us, and we didn't say anything wrong. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. Moving on. Anyway, so my one for the road is that I caught that Ashton Winger is gonna have a YouTube channel coming up, and I if I were to pick guys that I would want to have a YouTube channel, he'd be one of them. And then he goes on and he doesn't disappoint. The channel name is Ashton's Crash Out Gang. So I'm just here for it. I don't know what we're getting into. Ashton's a bit of a character, pretty good guy. I've seemed to really enjoy his interviews of late. He seemed to kind of matured and really become quite an entertaining dude. So I'm super interested to see what comes out of that. Also, him and Turbo, I believe, are halfway good buddies, and so this makes me wonder if we're not going to see a Turbo channel before too long. So, um, that's the other part of like the little bit of excitement that I might have when I see it is just like if we get a Turbo and an Ashton channel this year, like Dirt YouTube is on the come up. I'll just say that. Like, much respect to all the forefathers, but those two guys, that would be some entertaining stuff. So, looking forward to seeing what we will get out of him.
I wish we would have planned it better because Carter could have showed off his new Ashton Winger shirts.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
those are
know.
somewhere in my closet.
Some absolute vintage classics that people would clamor for. So maybe we'll get those on here next episode, and we can tell you where you can get them as well. So, um, anyway, one last thing. This is be like a one for the road for I guess Julian and I real quick. Did you do halfway decent in Dirt Draft? Because I smacked Friday. I won a boatload of points. I won all of or I won the 50 and the 250 and super late model and a couple other things too. No?
No, I think I was as low as like 800 something in the late model. I
Oh,
never do well at the Wild West Shootout. I don't know why. Like
it's
I'm just
tough.
I feel like I don't know. It doesn't. There's no
No.
right to it. I don't know. Maybe I
I did
overthink it.
I did terrible Sunday. Jack Riggs made the race and finished somewhere in the upper 20s or teens the night before and started on third in his heat and ruined my whole lineup on Sunday. So
And then
it's just tough. There's
he
just
broke
guys
the B main.
qualify well. So I'm sorry, I'm talking over you said.
I was talking over you, but he broke from a transfer in the B main too. So, and I had him on
Yeah,
my.
yeah. Oh man, we both had him. That was a bummer. Yeah. 'Cause he drove up in there and I was like, all right, redemption. And then But anyway, I digress. The mods are tough, super tough. Anyway, long and short, I did really good, and I wanted to brag about it. So that's my bonus one for the road. Is shout out to me for doing really good in dirt draft on Saturday. But anyway, with that, I think we are going to depart. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend, remind your grandma to watch, whatever it may be. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.